opportunities like this don't come along every day. Sometimes you get jobs that are big and challenging. They end up being the most rewarding. My name's Peter Harris. I'm Director of AD Engineering. AD Engineering is an electronics design warehouse. We create products from ideas and turn them into finished products, mainly for the government and industrial clients. Flip disk technology, or flip dot technology as it's also known, has been around for many, many years. Some of the very first signs for airports and large billboard signs were constructed with this technology, long before LEDs were even capable of producing signs. Recently, people have started to use them in architectural type signs because of their retro functionality and retro feel and look. The current project came about mainly because some architects who were looking for a corporate statement for our new client saw an example of the product and wondered if it could be applied on a much larger scale. And so we were eventually contacted through the supplier and the architect.
We've done one project before similar to this, and that's worked out pretty well. My name's Scott Moyle. I'm the production manager at AD Engineering. My role here is to organise the production of the units that we're fabricating and manage the staff and the delivery of the products.
A lot of the things we do are fairly unique. My name's Andrew McMeekin and I do electronic engineering here at AD Engineering. There's been a few times when we're figuring out just how many cables we need that you sort of sit back and go, yes, it's huge.
We've done these projects before, but they've always been quite simple, whereas for this client we've wanted to make it very smart and very clever and have a lot of extra features in it. I'm Danny Kirov, I'm the engineering manager. My job at AD Engineering basically involves the organisation of tasks for the engineers, project development, and basically give my input to ensure that everything is to the standard that AD Engineering requires.
Usually we can turn something around in a month or two, but this is going to take many, many months. I'm Kyle Vuklik, Senior Workshop Technician. Yeah, I do a lot of the initial prototyping, experimenting, getting things right before they go into, the full production run.
Flip disk project. It's a very large sign. My name's David. I'm part of the engineering team, designing and electronics and writing software. It's approximately 100 feet long and 20 feet high.
This is the biggest one they've ever made. Anybody, ever.
We've been building this project since about January in the design stage and only more recently in the physical sense. There are many processes involved before the project is complete. The initial stage is concept-driven, finding the best solutions to problems. These solutions do change as the project develops, but this is where the foundations are made. Part of our team works in software development. Their work will allow the customer to put any image on the flip disk wall. Hardware design is where the driver boards are developed. The driver board powers the disks, making sure the correct disks are flipped at the correct time.
Once you cover every single possibility, then you have numbers, you have hard design limits, you have criteria, and so you build to it and it works.
As it sounds, hardware manufacturing is where the designs enter the production line.
In each individual part, it's quite a manageable thing, so the final install is just replicating and putting more and more of the same pieces together.
The ideas are sound at this stage. Now it's just a matter of taking your two hands and, getting stuck into it and hopefully getting enough of it done that, we can get it all finished by the deadline.
There's over 80 electronic driver boards in the sign, over 4 kilometres of wiring, several control gear, and over 58,000 discs. Put back to back, the discs would measure 6 kilometres. We're one of perhaps a couple of suppliers in the world that can manage a sign like this. To give a sense of scale, a typical freeway sign would measure 6 metres by 3 metres. By comparison, our sign will measure 30 metres by 6 metres. That's 10 times the original size. It is certainly the largest physical item and certainly the most expensive single item that we've ever done.
It's not daunting, but it is a matter of building it right and building it right the first time.
There's always a challenge in everything. In fact, some of the simplest things have the most challenges.
This wall has been made environmentally friendly on two main fronts. The majority of the plastics used in the project were made from recycled soft drink bottles, and the other is the very small power consumption.
So each dot will draw sort of a little over a watt of electrical energy, but there's a lot of dots.
Fortunately, we don't actually need to update every dot for every frame. We only need to drive the disc if it's got a changed state.
The power consumption is comparably very low, about 70 times less than that of a standard freeway sign.
Once the dots are flipped, they don't consume any power at all.
A 60-watt light bulb would be about the equivalent.
Very rarely do you get to do, the biggest of anything.
There's over 60,000 individual elements in the sign.
It's a very different technology to see.
You can't not be excited about doing the world's largest flip dot sign.
It performs like something nobody's ever seen before.
It's been a good challenge.
We're not expecting any failures.
Once the hardware manufacturing is complete, it is time to ship everything off, ready for assembly on the other side of the world. Despite our two companies being so far apart, we've managed to get this sign installed without any problem at all. Very rarely do we get to do a project like this. It's a very innovative type display. There are not that many of them in the world, and we believe that this is the largest by a considerable margin. The whole project has been very rewarding. The result is beyond expectations. It's been tough, but ultimately everything's fitted together exactly as planned, and we're very happy with the way it's come together. At AD Engineering, we make it happen.